Cars are already on the racetrack because there are storms around the area of Rockingham today, the Sandhills of North Carolina. NASCAR wants to get things underway quickly so we can bring you the entire 200 miles of competition today. There you see row 8, Tim Fedewa and Jason Keller, a couple of guys who really need a win before the season concludes. Kevin LePage in his new ride, the James Finch machine, and Stanton Barrett today in the 89 car. Your 10th row, Mark Crow in the 80, Stevie Reeves in the 96. Continue to look at that starting lineup. Michael Waltrip and Mike Dillon will be in row 11 today. A couple of pace laps coming your way. Matt Kenseth, who's been strong, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., a car that you'll recognize, the 31 machine. The 13, Phil Parsons. Joe Bessie, who won at Dover several weeks ago on TNN. 14th row, we'll have Greg Sachs in the 49. Brad Loney driving the McLaughlin Racing Products Bun Saver machine today. We'll have more on that a little later on, too. As we continue to look at the grid, Robert Presley in the Sunoco 47. Scott Legacy, the road racer, in the Pestoff Chevrolet 22. And your 16th row, Steve Park, he says he's going to be strong today. And Jeff Fuller in the other Laughlin machine. That's the 40 car today. Also from the Hunter Specialty Stable. Point leader and defending champion Randy LaJoie back in the 17th row with Tracy Leslie today. And your 18th row, Elton Sawyer, he expects to be fast today. The Barbasol machine and Nathan Butke in car number 78. 19th row, we'll have Perry Tripp, the ARCA veteran, making his first Busch Series start at Ed Whitaker's car. Former Dash Series champion Lyndon Amick in the 35. 20th row, Kevin Schwantz, the motorcycle champion, and Dennis Setzer in the Lance Snacks machine. And the 21st row, we'll have Ed Barrier in the 77 and Randy Porter in the 48. Those cars taking provisionals. Take a look at the point standings now. This has been quite a battle all season long. Randy LaJoie is the leader. Todd Bodine got himself back in contention. Big win at the California Speedway last week. 200 points to gap. Steve Park may come up and steal second away, though, from Todd Bodine. 2 races to go here this weekend, and of course at Homestead in the month of November. And we're about ready to go. Looks like 1 to go before we go green. We'll show you the cars we'll be riding with. Phil Parsons in the Channel Lock Chevrolet will give us some great pictures out the front of that machine. Todd Bodine, who starts up in the 4th starting spot today, the Stanley Tools Pontiac, and he has rejuvenated his season with that win last week. Driver who has dominated. He's won 3 straight here at Rockingham. Mark Martin goes off from the 6th spot to make it the 8th spot today. We'll ride with Mark in the Winn-Dixie Ford. Dick Trickle goes 3rd in the Duralube machine. And the point leader will have a camera on board for us today as well. Randy LaJoie, who starts way back in the pack, 33rd starting spot for the Fina Chevrolet. And Stevie Reeves also will carry one of our cameras today. Buddy Baker is with us today. Chad Little joining us as well for some commentary this afternoon. And Glenn Jarrett and Matt Yoakum are on pit road for us today. And we're glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports this afternoon. Buddy Baker, Randy LaJoie has got a lot at stake here this afternoon.
Well, he really does. You know, a points lead, you'd think 200 points, wow, I'm made. But right now, he's got bad track position, and it's his championship to lose right now.
Field coming out of turn 4. Jeff Burton is your pole sitter. Tony Stewart, the Indy Racing League champion, on the outside pole, and Bobby Labonte Shell Pontiac. He was so strong in Charlotte several weeks ago, finished a great 3rd there. We're glad you're with us today on TNN Motorsports. Green flag waves, and we're underway. Settling into 3rd spot behind Stewart. Burton off to a good lead, buddy.
Yes, he is, and everybody thinks this car is very, very strong. Of course, sitting on the pole tells you he's very fast. But this racetrack goes, the tires go away in like 10 laps, and then it's the car that really works well after that.
Blaze Alexander is driving Jimmy Spencer's 20 car here this weekend, and he got together with someone going down into 1. He goes way high, but keeps it off the fence. Alexander started very strongly here today. A good qualifying run, started 6th, but he's dropped back in the field. He and Michael Waltrip right there in the 21 car, Stevie Reeves. So they're back several spots now. We jump on board with Reeves. Take you back up into turn 1. Chad Little, what did we see here?
I'd say you see too many race cars and not enough room as you go into turn number 1.
That was Tim Fedewa in the 33 that made contact there with Blaze Alexander getting in turn 1. We have trouble down here. Look at this car. It's wadded up down in the middle part of turn 1.
That's Perry Tripp in the 7 machine. He had Whitaker car. Tripp making his first Busch Grand National start here this weekend. Got the show back in 37th starting spot. He is now out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm sure you recognize the name. Perry, a regular in the ARCA Supercar Series for many years. A hard lick into the wall, it looks like, in the number 7 Chevrolet. So we're under caution for the first time on lap number 4 here today. But you were saying earlier that turn 1 and 2 area very unforgiving.
Well, really, this is not one of the real trouble spots on this racetrack. Getting into 1's usually pretty calm. Coming out of 2 is usually the bad spot. But we see contact there between, it looked like Jeff Fuller and the 77 car there.
And barrier up in the 7 car, too, getting into the fray. Wow, hard lick. Take a look one more time from outside turn 1.
That's 3 cars trying to get into one groove down low there, and they made contact. You can see all 3 were involved there. But usually, as I was saying, turn 2 is a real bad spot on this track.
Cars riding around the top side of the wall. Everyone appears to be okay. Perry Trippett dropped the window net, but his first Busch Series start, very brief. We'll be back with much more from Rockingham in a moment. Welcome back to North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Early on here in the AC-Delco 200. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Hall of Famer Buddy Baker. Winston Cup driver Chad Little with us upstairs today. A lot to talk about this afternoon. Mark Martin's going for quite a record. He could win his 32nd career Busch Series event if he continues to dominate here. Is he ready to do that today?
You can always count that Mark Martin is strong in those Jack Roush prepared cars. So I would have to say he'd be a safe bet this afternoon as well. We
were talking before about Randy LaJoie. He's got the championship at stake. He needs to come out of here losing no more than 20 points to Todd Bodine. What do you think? He's starting way in the back today.
In my opinion, he needs to get out of 33rd and get up in good track position, because way back there you can see it's happening already. Rockingham, they call it rock. It's not because it's in Rockingham. This is a tough place.
Randy LaJoie under caution, starting way in the back. Glenn Jarrett's on pit road for us today. Glenn, what do they think so far? Is the car ready to come up through the pack today?
Well, they certainly hope so, Rick. And in those first 5 laps, Steve Byrd asked Randy how the car was doing. As the caution came out, he said, man, I don't know. He said, I've held my breath for the first 5 laps. It's hairy back there. This morning before the race, they changed everything under that car. They were the last car on the line. They changed the rear end housing, the trailing arms, the shocks, the springs, the upper control arms, everything that moved on the car. They changed it. The car was extremely loose. They hope they've got it right for Randy today. Before we leave these pits, Mr. B, that's Bill Bumgarner, the team owner, turns 50 November 1st. Wish him a happy birthday. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Well, Glenn, Todd Bodine currently sits 4th. Last week he won the duel on fuel. The strategy today, just the same. He has to go to the front and win if he wants to get that championship hopes, keep it alive going into Homestead. He's won here at Rockingham before. He won the fall race 2 years ago, the only driver in Busch Series history to be a regular series competitor and go to victory lane in this event. But today he's battling the flu as well as Randy LaJoie. Steve?
Well, we'll see how it plays out, as that point battle is certainly the story within a story here today. Track crew still working up at the top of turn 1 and 2 at the Rock here this afternoon. Your AutoZone race analysis, nearly $350,000 on the line today, brought to you by more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. We'll be right back at Rockingham in a moment.
I don't have my own TV show on TNN Motorsports yet. But until then, you can go online now and get my view on this year's championship battle with Todd Bodine at www.country.com. Check it out.
Wonder if Randy's got his laptop hooked up in the car. Probably not this time of the afternoon. He's in good shape, though, certainly. He's moved up a couple of spots, started 33rd. LaJoie will restart in 28th, so he's gained 5 positions already, Buddy Baker.
Yeah, and you could see him for the first-time viewers there. He was going back and forth with the steering wheel. What they do there is get all the debris off the racing surface of the tire, so when they go back under green, the tire will stick when they go in the first corner. He'll do that again before they drop the green.
Put 10 laps on the board already here, the last 6 of them under caution. Now, here's the way the championship scenario looks at this point. LaJoie's point lead over Todd Bodine, 200. So if Randy gives up fewer than 20 points today, in other words, if he comes out of this race with 180 points as his lead or more, he will win his 2nd consecutive Busch Grand National Championship.
Rick, I can't think of a racetrack more tough than the Rock here. And like 20 points is nothing, I'm telling you. And you can lose it so quick in just one slide here that I'm sure Randy's aware of that.
Well, Jeff Burton will bring him off of turn 4. We'll be ready to go racing here to begin lap number 11 of 197 tours around the Rock this afternoon. Tony Stewart restarts in 2nd spot. We're back to green and down into 1. Trickle is 3rd. And Todd Bodine, so stout a week ago, is 4th. Mark Martin is on the move on the low side there, picking up a couple of spots.
Well, you can see several cars there are able to run the high line around the racetrack there and actually keep up. Shane Hall in the 85. And he's doing a very good job on the outside groove there. So that's a good sign this early in the race that they can run more than just one groove around here.
Kevin LePage on the low side there in the Phoenix Racing number 4, gaining a couple of spots. It's a battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th as they make it down into 1. Chad, you've been out on the racetrack. Did you practice this morning?
Yeah, well, yeah, we practiced this morning. You know, generally here, the fast way around this place is at the very bottom of the racetrack. But the race surface is so hard and abrasive on tires, in just a matter of 10 laps, you'll see these cars moved up to maybe a groove and a half and even higher in the corners.
Down the main straightaway, Buckshot Jones now and LePage. LePage gunning for 9th spot on Jones, and he does get by. Meantime, out in front, it's still Burton and Stewart, the battle for the first spot.
Boy, Tony Stewart in the 44 there. He just clinched the IRL championship. And you talk about a kid that's really moving up in the sport. He runs for Joe Gibbs. You can see him taking a look going down into turn 1 on the inside there. Did not have enough room to make the pass.
Turn 1 again. Mark Martin back a couple of spots. Right behind Ricky Craven there. Craven sitting in 6th. Martin is 7th. Mike McLaughlin is 8th. Go back into the Winn-Dixie 4 down into turn 3.
You see Mark Martin coming off turn 4 and down this front straightaway. You have a big dog leg on the front straightaway here. You're really in a turn all the way down the straightaway now. Right back down on the bottom of the racetrack on the white line there around through the corner. He's just biding his time right now. You never know what Mark Martin has until it comes time for him to show it with 10, 15 laps to go.
Leaders nose to tail down into 3. Haven't seen a lot of side-by-side racing up in that lead group yet. Everyone being conservative, Chad?
Well, they're just smart. That's why they're up there in the front. They know that side by side, you're going to lose a lot of time to the guys behind you. Not only that, you're going to take a big chance on getting in a wreck this early in the race.
Take a look there at Buckshot Jones and Shane Hall dueling it out for 10th spot. And Stevie Reeves and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Look at that color scheme on the 31 car. Dale Jr. with a paint job his dad used for a long time.
That's deja vu. All you got to do is take that 1 off there and put about 4 tire marks on that left side and look just like Dale Earnhardt again.
Randy LaJoie at the back of that group of cars. He's moved up 5 more spots. He's 23rd. He's gained 10 spots in 17 laps. Directly behind him, Robert Presley. We got a look at the Sunoco machine. We jump inside with the Busch Series point leader. LaJoie trying to move up on Phil Parsons, who's been at the top of the point charts all season long. They're fighting for 22nd spot.
Talking about Phil Parsons, channel lock's going elsewhere. You can see him get high there. He was going through the corner and the car broke loose a little bit. LaJoie got the inside groove on him.
Up front, meantime, Todd Bodine and the 1 of Hermie Sadler battling for 4th. Give Sadler 4th now. Here's Craven to the low side on Todd Bodine and Mark Martin back there too. Martin, remember, has won 3 straight here at Rockingham in the Busch Series.
Now you watch Mark down this front straightaway. He'll stay with Ricky Craven. And they have the edge on Bodine. He's on the outside there. He'll have to give way getting in the corner just a little bit. Now watch him through this corner. You can see a car length right there. And Mark Martin going right along with him.
So give Craven the spot. Martin moving by as well. Inside Todd Bodine. So Mark Martin now moves up to 6th spot. Straightaway, let's quickly go to pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Well, the good news, Perry Tripp has walked out of the infield care center. Perry, what happened?
Went down the front straightaway. We did turn 1 there, and a 40 car got up underneath me and hit me in the left rear, turned me around. I'm not really sure, you know, why. It's way too early in the race for that stuff.
Well, the good news is he's okay. Rick Benjamin?
That was a hard lick into the wall. Good to see that Perry Tripp is okay. Greg Sachs and Stevie Reeves and the 45 of Brad Loney. 38, that's Selton Sawyer back there battling for 27th, 8th, and 9th spots. Reeves was up high. He's still up on the high side. He got caught out there just a moment ago. We'll take you back here a lap or 2 and show you how Reeves got pinched 3 wide down into 1.
Oh, a little contact there with the Matt Kenseth's car, the 17 there. I tell you what, you'll gladly go up high when you make that contact at that part of the racetrack. You're very, very loose right there anyhow.
Reeves is 28th right now. Greg Sachs being shown 29th as we close in 22 laps around the board here this afternoon. Reeves has started to qualify better. He is still looking for some upfront finishes. Now the battle with Mark Martin on his way. Martin is 6th. Ricky Craven runs fifth, and Craven is going to give up the spot down the main straightaway.
This is like watching a family reunion photo here. Mark Martin he picks them off one at a time, never gets in a hurry. Looks like he's a replay of last year. He's moving up through the crowd right here. Pretty soon you'll see him go up to the lead. He'll take a few laps to work on the leader, but look at that car, how well it runs low. It's got great straightaway speed. Mark Martin has never lucked into a win. He's a winning type race car driver.
Well, it always seems, Buddy, that Mark has a tendency to set his cars up for a long run. And it might come from his, his lengthy Cup experience, but he's usually not as quick on brand new tires as maybe some of the other guys might be. But if the track goes green for a long time, you can almost guarantee that Mark's going to be there.
Battle a little further back in the pack. Mark Green in the Timberwolf car, and Tim Fedua in the Rose's Kleenex machine. That's the blue car on the outside there. Battling for 12th and 13th and 14th. Elliott Sadler right there. Glenn Allen Jr. as well. Down through the main straightaway. Mark Green starting to look a little stronger here as the season progresses. He is 14th and Fedua 15th as they haul it down into turn one. Crow brothers back there in that mix of cars as well.
He got a little off the fence there too. You can see Crow get a little sideways up off that corner. That was the 80 car. You can see turn sideways there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Blaze Alexander in the 20, and Jimmy Spencer's machine. We're on board with Phil Parsons onto the main straightaway. Parsons back in 21st spot. Gaining one there, getting by Alexander, so give Phil Parsons a position in the first 20. Jr. up in 18th. Blaze Alexander, a young driver from Pennsylvania. A lot of people think he's going to be a very strong competitor in the years to come. A lot of valuable experience in the ARCA series. Many good finishes, no victories there, but certainly a young driver with a lot of promise. Alexander and Mark Crow side by side. Battle for 20th and 21st spot. There's Robert Presley right behind him. 170 laps to go here this afternoon. Jeff Burton is still out in front in car number 9. He's got Tony Stewart and Dick Trickle riding with him. We'll be right back. And we're back live at Rockingham. We've got a battle for third spot developing. Mark Martin to the inside. No battle really, over quickly. He gets by Trickle. Give Martin third spot.
That wasn't much of a battle. That's more of a face slap there. He went right on by. Mark has really got this car dialed in. He's just picking him off at will right now. But it'll get tougher as he gets on further up the ladder. Tony Stewart won't just roll over and play. And Dick Trickle, I'm sure, will adjust on his car after the first pit stop. Don't count him out ever. You can see Tony Stewart there at the back of the car just dancing a little bit on the Pontiac number 44 there.
Stewart making only his 13th or 14th Busch Series start, the first qualifying effort that's landed him on the lead row in that car. He was so stout at Charlotte, Buddy Baker. You watched him run there. Are you surprised at how quickly he's picked this up?
You know, yeah, I guess I am, but you have to remember he's the only driver to ever win 3 USAC championships in 1 year, so he has tremendous talent. You can see right now, though, he's getting a lesson in how to get off turn 4 there as he goes by Tony Stewart down the front straightaway.
Lap traffic starting to be a factor here for the lead cars. Burton in the 9 is still out in front. And Martin and Stewart right behind him. Mark Martin has gone by, so he has moved into second spot. Got a couple of your teammates next year that are up at the head of the class right now as we watch Hermie Sadler trying to put a move on Trickle.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a close eye on him too, because you can learn something watching those guys that win on the Winston Cup circuit.
Sadler drops back behind Trickle. That's for 4th. Tony Stewart getting shuffled back to 3rd now. Ricky Craven trying to get up in there and get back to the top 5.
Chad, what they're doing right now, as you well know, you can see the teammates, he just moved over and let Martin go by. Martin taking the lead. Now they'll just kind of feel each other out because they have the same power plant, same people build the motors. The cars are basically the same, and it's just whoever has the best handling package right at the moment.
Looks like it's Mark Martin who was able to outhandle. He would look right inside Jeff Burton as they hit turn 3. Is that a prime place to pass here?
I think he got a run on him coming off of turn 4, and he just waved him on by. You'll notice that a lot. I think it's real important to comment on it. When you catch somebody in front, it seems like the veteran drivers over and over again, they wave the guy by, and that's a way that you keep from avoiding, getting yourself in trouble. The guys that don't have the experience, they'll race really hard with somebody who caught him without a problem, and that's where sometimes the wrecks start.
Looking at Tracy Leslie's machine, had a 5th back at the season opener at Daytona, had trouble, got way loose just a moment ago. He's inside Dennis Setzer there.
Okay, you can probably see the back start to get loose right there. The nose comes down right there. That's great car control. You could see he didn't overreact and snatch the steering wheel. Had he done that, he would spun around.
I think he did wreck. He just, that was a wreck. Right
Just
there.
no physical damage
That's
to the car,
exactly
right?
Right now, he's trying to catch his breath.
Tracy Leslie in the 63 stays clean. He's back in 36th spot, though. Meantime, the 2 of Ricky Craven has moved back to 5th. He got by Henry Sadler just a moment ago. Mike McLaughlin on the move now, and here's Craven to the outside of Trickle as they come through 4.
You can see a
Tough
little
place to run there.
little smoke off of them there. That's when the tire touches the quarter panel. It makes that smoke fly like that. That's just a reminder. Yeah, I'm still down here. Don't come no. If you come any further, you're gonna have more than tire smoke.
Mike McLaughlin has really been on the charge the last couple of laps as well. McLaughlin up to 7th. He got by his teammate. That's trouble for Jeff Fuller in the other Laughlin Racing Products car. The 40 car, they've run 2 cars here this weekend. Jump you back up in front. As we continue to keep track of the scoring. The Napa scoring brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Nick Trickle taking us for a ride. He's got McLaughlin right behind him. Trickle is sitting 5th at the moment, with McLaughlin back there in 6th. And then Sadler in 7th spot.
If you want to see a car that's sticking better than the others, you can watch them as they enter the corner. The car that really gets a good grip getting in the corner will gain several car lengths on the car in front of them going into the corner. And that means, hey, I know it's going to stick. I'm not worried about taking it down in the corner. You can see McLaughlin looking on the inside, trying to get by Trickle.
As we watch Mike McLaughlin settling in behind Dick Trickle, running 5th and 6th right now. Matt Yoakum, what's the pit stop strategy shaping up like?
Well, Rick, I talked to a number of crew chiefs before today's race. They all told me tire management will be the key to victory. You have to try to stretch your tires to at least lap 50, maybe even to lap 60, so you have one fresh set of tires for that last 50 lap or 60 lap run. That's what put Mark Martin in the victory lane last year. Dale Jarrett had the car, but Martin had the fresher tires, and that put him in the victory lane. Also, a lot of teams are complaining their cars are either loose or tight, depending upon how they set their cars up this morning for the weather. The sun is out now. One guy who's paying the price is Todd Bodine. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, man. And another guy losing some positions is number 44, Tony Stewart. And, buddy, you called it a while ago. You saw the car wiggle a little. It's getting just a little bit looser each lap. Also, he's got a little bit more water temperature than what he wants right now. It's running about 210, so they're going to pull some tape off the upper part of the nose of the car when he comes in, try to get a little more air to it. And that will, as well, help to tighten the car up, so it'll let a little more air flow through it, make him able to turn that car a little bit better in the corner. But right now, Stewart's loose.
One car way up high. That's Kevin Schwantz in the 88, the former world motorcycle champion. Way up in the gray stuff there. Keeps it off the fence, though, but he is slowing down the backstretch.
Yeah, well, he's already been in the wall one time in practice with this car, and they were very lucky to be able to fix it and get it back in the race. So I imagine right now he's waiting until the pit stop so he can adjust on that car.
Ricky Craven on the move meantime. He goes flying around Jeff Burton on the outside to pick off 2nd spot. Dick Trickle takes a look as well as we take you inside Trickle's machine.
Whoa, you can see why he's dropping back right there.
Yeah.
You can see the 9 car of Burton really getting sideways coming out turn 2. You'll see him fade out right now. He's using a lot of racetrack there, using that race car and not turning it down because the back end's trying to pass the front.
So Craven moves to 2nd spot now, and Trickle's going to gain his spot, move up to 3rd. That shuffles Jeff Burton back to 4th. Mike McLaughlin, meantime, has gained ground. He's up to 5th. I think McLaughlin may be the guy to watch here.
Well, McLaughlin's also in a point battle, isn't he?
He's up toward the front, certainly. He's had a very good season, couple of wins this year. Jeff Burton, your pole sitter here today, backing up at the moment. Now, can you adjust as you drive if you can keep the car lower? Does that help you conserve the tire?
You can change your line. What you try not to do is bind the car up where you really ask too much out of the rear or the front tires. What you try to do is let it roll in the corner.
And we've got Greg
trouble there.
Sachs. Looks like Greg Sachs in the 49 gets around, keeps it off the fence with a nice bit of driving. It's the WCW machine, the 49 car.
Well, he was turned around by Kevin Schwantz in the 88 cars. They went down into turn number 1, and Greg did a good job of not getting in the wall.
So Sachs gets it gathered up. We're under caution for the 2nd time this afternoon.
You can see a left rear tire down, left front's down. That's from sliding. When you lock the brakes up and slide on this racetrack, you'll normally go through the tire and it'll cause it to blow out like that.
Mark Martin is in the lead. 48 laps are on the board, make it 49 now, and we are under caution for the second time for that spin up between turns 1 and 2. We'll show it to you here one more time.
Well, they're going down into turn number 1 there. Either got the wind taken off of him as the 88. No, I think there was a little contact there. The 49 car, at the angle he went in, had to back out of the gas a little bit more, and the 88 just got in the back of him a little bit.
Sack's able to keep it off the fence, so he'll be able to continue most likely. It looks like the leaders. Sachs is already in. Pit road open, and here comes Martin leading the parade.
These guys right now were hoping for this caution. Those tires were about giving up.
Race leader is Mark Martin. He's got a lot at stake here record-wise. Matt Yoakum.
Mark Martin comes to a stop in his pit. Bobby Leslie and crew go to work. Just some minor adjustments on the Winn-Dixie Ford. Also, Ricky Craven comes in. Kevin Caldwell and his company go to work. 1 pound down in the right front. No major adjustments for his car as well. Glenn Jarrett.
And Dick Trickle is in. They've already changed the right side tires. It will be a 4-tire stop for Trickle. He was having a little bit of a handling problem. So they've got the left sides are on now. Trickle is, well, a little trouble in the left rear. Wow, that's going to cost him some positions. Also, Tony Stewart in right in front of him. Trickle pulls out. Stewart, they took some tape off the nose, and more trouble with him on the left rear. Boy, he fell way, way back. He lost a good 8 or 10 positions in the pits.
Tony Stewart back on the speedway. Point leader Randy LaJoie not off pit road as yet. I'm sure he was hoping to gain some track position. Looks like it may not happen on this stop. We'll be back at the Rock in a moment. And a reminder, you can check out NASCAR online before, during, and after today's race. www.nascar.com is your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. Welcome back to North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Chad Little with you topside. Matt Yoakum and Glenn Jarrett are on pit road today. 1 to go till we put them back under green. 52 complete. We've got 145 miles, 145 laps remaining. This track is just 90 feet longer than 1 mile. Don't know how they came up with that, but it's just a tick over 1 mile, so we go a little less than 200 laps here today. There's your leader, Mark Martin.
You can see he's just like a day in the office there. He has his hand in the window net there, kind of resting it, kind of going back and forth with the wheel, just checking it out. I'm sure he's looking at the gauges right now, making sure everything's ready to go back under green. Right there on the side of his helmet, that's a headrest. Later on in the race, as you go through the corners here, you get a lot of force on the, because of the helmet weight and all, and you actually put your head up against that rest there to give you a little bit of rest going through the corners.
Safety car is in. We're ready to go green. Martin take his left hand off the window net, no doubt, and get back on the button here as we begin lap number 55. And look at the move down low. Got 3 wide inside there. That's Stanton Barrett in the 89 making that bold move down low in the trials. Yeah,
it didn't get him much, so you see he didn't have a good angle off the corner. He lost back what he gained by making that move right there. Sometimes you don't like, whoa.
Kevin Schwantz, you got Tony Stewart in there. You've got the 85 of Shane Hall. Look at Mark Green, stick the nose of the 37 in there. Wow.
A lot of these lap cars are quite a bit off the pace right now. Those restarts are going to be challenging.
Schwantz down low, snuck by Stanton Barrett, who tried that low line one more time. I don't think he can get out of that position on the racetrack.
See Robert Pressler there getting very, very close as they come out of the corner there. You can almost hear the metal. Oh, we have trouble in 2.
Sure do. It looks like the 22 of Scott Lagasse into the wall down low as in the second corner. You can sort of see that one developing off that restart. A lot of cars jockeying for position back in the pack. But Lagasse has bent up the 22 car pretty thoroughly.
Both ends. A lot of damage to the right rear and the right front corners really stoved in there also.
New team that joined the tour partway through the season. He's got a veteran road racer, many road race championships to his credit. And the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series back in 1995 on a regular basis. But looks like his effort in today's AC-Delco 200 will be a short-lived one as the safety crew works on things. We'll show it to you one more time. Lagasse in that gaggle of cars down into turn 1 and then out of 2. And all the way back. He had gotten into the outside wall. Looks like he was alone there. So Lagasse's machine stopped down low, and the safety crew working. We're under caution for the 3rd time. Time now for an AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
This week's Tech Fact is called the Tale of the Tape and how NASCAR race teams cannot get along without tape. Let's start on the nose of the car here. Look right here on the front air down. There's tape there. They put it on the grill and the nose to affect the handling of the car. Wrote themselves a little note here, taped it on the front of the car. Another note here with some measurements on it taped to the roll bar. Look right here on the floor, some red tape to tell him where to park the car when he comes back in off the racetrack. Got some tape here on the fresh air vent and on the oil cooler to lessen the drag during practice and qualifying. Now, if you happen to be a rookie contender, they're going to put some yellow tape on the back of your car. This is Steve Parks to let the rest of these guys know, hey, I'm a rookie. You might ought to watch out for me. And if one of these guys, either rookie or veteran, crashes this car, man, they put it back together with a pile of tape. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. This feature is being brought to you on videotape.
Welcome back live, North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina, the AC-Delco 200 for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Next to last race of the 1997 season, unfortunately, not a pleasant start for Scott Legacy, whose car goes up on the rollback, so his afternoon is over early here today. I want to remind you, when you're making your plans for a holiday trip, might check out Opryland. It's the official destination of NASCAR in Nashville. More information on Opryland is yours at 615-889-6611. That is weekdays, Monday through Friday. Certainly make your plans. Christmas at Opryland, just a wonderful experience for the whole family. Todd Bodine, we go on board with the driver chasing the point leader, Randy LaJoie. He's settled out nicely. Bodine settling down into 6th spot right now, on board as well with Phil Parsons. There are your cars that are not still in competition at this point, as we remain under caution for Scott Legacy, who got into the wall. Randy LaJoie riding comfortably. LaJoie back in 23rd spot. Good shape maybe to clinch a title today. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back at Rockingham, Mark Martin, your race leader. We've talked a lot about the championship battle, but Mark Martin has a lot at stake here today as well. Here's his career record in the Busch Grand National Series. Jack Ingram, the Iron Man, the winningest driver in Busch competition, 31 victories. Martin has tied him, and he's not a full-time Busch competitor. Mark can break the record, of course, here today with a victory. This is the 6th time he's tried to do that. Well, earlier today, our buddy Baker had a chance to talk to Mark, find out if he cares much about breaking Ingram's record.
Yes, I do. This is one record that means quite a bit to me, because I look at Jack Ingram and say, I can't tell you what I think of Jack Ingram. The guy was awesome. When I came down here, man, I never dreamed I'd be able to compete with Jack Ingram. And I will say that he did in 5 years what it's taken me 10 years to try to do. So Jack Ingram is very awesome.
A lot of respect there by Mark Martin for the now retired Iron Man, Jack Ingram, who was stout everywhere. It was fun to watch him race in years past.
Mark's pretty awesome too. I tell you what, when you go to a Grand National race and you see this black car in there, you know he has a chance to win.
Martin looking at an opportunity to break that record today. It would be his 9th win at Rockingham if he is successful here today. I'm going to update you too on Randy LaJoie's situation. Comes in with a 200-point advantage over Todd Bodine, but had troubles in qualifying. LaJoie sitting 23rd. What do they think down on pit road, Glenn Jarrett?
Well, let's find out. This is Steve Bird, the crew chief. And Steve, you told me before the race you changed almost everything, and it's still loose.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this old car number 9 here. Hey, the boys worked hard. We just got something wrong. We couldn't figure it out here. And I guess we just got to try to fix it here. We got a few more stops and do the best we can. But I'm proud of this base motorsports team.
What'll be your next choice? What'll you go out? What'll you tackle next in trying to fix the car?
We'll probably just load it up full of bite. See what bite is tries to help us.
Well, as you can see, guys, they're still scratching their heads. And the end result of that is it keeps LaJoie back in the pack, where all that action that the race fans like to see, but the race drivers don't. He's back there where they're really mixing it up, and he wants to get out of there.
Well, he's gained 10 spots in the 63 laps we've run. Started 33rd, he's up to 23rd now, but Todd Bodine, his title nemesis, is riding 6th. So Randy needs to close some ground between now and the time the checkered flag falls. Coming out of turn 4, Mark Martin will lead us to the restart one more time.
You can see only one car a lap down. That's him on the inside of the race. If they start down in the corner, Mark Martin gets a great restart.
It's the 88 of Schwantz, who has had a few difficulties here in the early going, but we're clean and underway. Back down into turn 1, field away nicely. Quite a battle there. The two Roush cars, 1st and 2nd. Mark Martin out in front. There's Trickle. Mike McLaughlin going down into 3 with Todd Bodine at the Team 34 cars. Lead battle involving a couple of Roush racing machines. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Rick, don't be surprised if you see Jeff Burton motor on by his corporate teammate Mark Martin once this run gets going a little bit. Tommy Morgan told me their car is actually better than Martin's, and Martin is content to let his teammate go by because he knows he's got to save his tires for later in the race. So if Burton can get by, he's not going to challenge him to let him motor on by.
Leaders in 3 and 4. Ricky Craven on the high side, trying to get by and gain a spot.
2 Fords and a Chevrolet. You can see Craven taking a little wider line there. That's he on the outside there through the corner. He's trying a little different line right now. May pay off later on because the bottom groove has been used by every car in every practice session. You can see him very quick as they start off the corner there.
Craven hasn't been shy about using that high side so far this afternoon either. A little further back, Todd Bodine trying to gain ground, passes his teammate to McLaughlin, has his teammate right alongside.
That's no way to treat a team member. He just moved him right on out of here.
And Ricky Craven to the outside, getting by Burton for second spot. So the Ray Vesta Chevrolet moves to the number 2 position. Ricky considering his options for next season in the NASCAR Busch Series, wants to continue as a team owner. He's talking to some drivers. May have a deal put together here fairly soon.
I think so. There's a couple of guys from up north that want to come down, and if the one guy, I won't use his name because it's not done yet, but if he does come down and go to work in that 2 car, he'll be just as awesome as Ricky Craven.
Mark Martin now stretching the lead once we're back under green. Matt Yoakum, one driver whose afternoon didn't last as long as he would have liked.
Ricky can still crack a smile, but Scott Legacy, what happened?
Well, we just did a stop, got 4 tires and fuel, and going into turn 1, the spotters said the 45 car just lost it on the way in. I guess we kind of kept him out of the fence, but pretty hard hit for the Pest Defense Chevrolet, so I guess we'll watch the rest of this one.
A tough early exit for Scott Legacy.
Battling for 29th and 30th spot meantime. Crow in the 80 Fedua in the 33. We're on board with Stevie Reeves as they come up out of the main straightaway. Reeves holding the car down low. Robert Presley in that group as well.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 31, the blue and yellow car there. You can see, boy, the apple didn't fall far from the tree there either. Look at him going in that corner right under Robert Presley. Gives him a little body contact and goes right on by. Like father, like son.
Dale Jr. makes the move and gets 18th away from Presley there and takes Parsons along with him. Parsons with plenty at stake here this afternoon as well. He is 6th in Busch Series points. He's got an opportunity to get back up to 4th. There's only about 50 points separating 4th, 5th, and 6th in the standings with 2 races to go. As your scoring up top is continuing to be presented as we go along today, courtesy of MCI. Battling down into turn 1 there, the 29 of Elliott Sadler. One car with some problems down the main straightaway. Meantime, out of the backstretch, Michael Waltrip. Tracy Leslie looks like he got in the wall. Front end's bent pretty severely on the 63 car.
Whatever happened, the left front turned all the way to the left. Whoa, trouble here.
And Kevin Schwantz and Tim Fedua.
Let's see, what
down into
that?
turn 3. That's the 88. That's the David Ridley Motorsports Chevrolet, the Ryder trucking car with motorcycle star Kevin Schwantz in the saddle. Schwantz started up front at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. Lyndon Amick was involved in that as well. The team Amick Pontiac with some left front corner damage. So we are under caution once again here at Rockingham today. Schwantz has the window net down.
Chad, they've been toying with this for a long time. I think Kevin Schwantz had been in 2 or 3 near misses and finally got into trouble here.
This is a tough place to be a rookie at. The surface of the track isn't very forgiving, so when you're first starting out, things can happen quickly. Let's see what happened as we look at it again. I think that's coming off of turn 2.
Down into 3.
Probably started at turn 2 and ended down there in 3, and then Lyndon Amick just ended up getting caught up in it by hitting the 88 car. He was already wrecked.
Tim Fedua was lucky he was right there as well. Just avoided the contact. So Schwantz has the helmet off and the window net down. His afternoon is done. That's a motorsports information for you, brought to you by Peerless Faucets, the do-it-for-yourself faucet.
Most NASCAR fans think the silly season is about over. You know, that time of year when drivers change cars, crew chiefs change teams? Well, there's a silly season for sponsors as well. Let's take a look at some of the things that we know will happen next year. Mike McLaughlin's sponsor, Royal Oak Charcoal, will leave in favor of Gould's Pump. Let's look at Buckshot Jones, the 00. Aquafresh will be replaced by Bayer and Alka-Seltzer. Look at the number 43 car. This year their sponsor was Lance. Lance leaves and will go on the number 4 car, driver yet unnamed. Also, Channel Lock is leaving Phil Parsons, and Slim Jim will leave the 57 car of Jason Keller. And there are some new companies coming into the sport as well. Take a look at this car, the number 75 car of Rick Wilson. It is sponsored by a group of products that Heritage Consumer Products has bought, and their one and only marketing plan is NASCAR racing. You know, silly season might be over for the rest of the world, but in the corporate boardrooms across America that make all this possible, silly season never ends.
Welcome back to North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. Sun starting to poke through, and it's nice to see. You can race into the all-new and official store of NASCAR, NASCAR Thunder. Now open in cities everywhere. For locations and information, give us a call at 615-883-7000. Weekdays, NASCAR Thunder. Holiday shopping just around the corner. Great crowd on hand here today. Kevin Schwantz leaning out of his machine. Look at the left front corner of that car. We could see him just a little bit out of shape as they came off turn 2. Just a few moments ago.
That's happened to a lot of race car drivers. Coming off 2, he got sideways, overcorrected, and went back head on into the wall. And that's all the damage that he got there. The front end was really knocked in.
We saw Blaze Alexander earlier, very strong. That's Jimmy Spencer's machine, in which he won Charlotte a few weeks ago. Rescue, which is an oil additive on the car here this weekend. So Alexander getting a caution flag pit stop, getting right front tire. Still under caution, 77 of 197 laps complete here this afternoon in the AC-Delco 200. We'll be back at Rockingham in a moment. Welcome back to the NASCAR Busch Series on TNN Motorsports, the AC-Delco 200 from the Rock, North Carolina Motor Speedway. Rick Benjamin with Buddy Baker and Chad Little topside today. 79 laps are on the board. Mark Martin, as is so often the case here in Busch Series competition at Rockingham, your restart leader. Right behind him, he's got Ricky Craven and Jeff Burton, who was the pole sitter today. And Dick Trickle, who quietly has put together a good run. He sits 4th. And Kevin LePage restarts 5th. LePage started 17th in the 4 car. He is on the move. Leaders are down the backstretch.
You're exactly right. Kevin LePage right now looking for rides and doing a great job. Look at this fight for the lead right here. Mark Martin on the bottom of the racetrack. Ricky Craven making a charge on the outside.
I really like the groove that Ricky Craven's found that works for that car right now. He goes in the second groove, keeps the motor free without pinching the chassis down, and then accelerates off as he makes it look easy to pass Mark Martin.
Right around him on the outside to lead.
Don't pay any attention to that. Mark Martin does this every race, and everybody says, oh, he's had engine trouble. Something's happened to him. All of a sudden, he motors right back up here and takes him back. He'll just ride along there in second, maybe in third for a little while. Then he'll move right back up to the lead.
Chad, you were talking about tire strategy. The teams only have 2 full sets of tires to use here today.
Yeah, for a short 200 lap or 197 lap race, 200 miles, it's 2 sets of tires, and I think that all these cautions are going to play into their hands because this track does eat up tires quickly.
So right now it's Craven. We'll take a look at something that happened just a moment ago as well. Robert Presley and Phil Parsons with contact there in 3.
That's called a chuck. That's where you just give them a little touch right there, and the car is very light at that point on the racetrack, and you just scoops them up a lot, just a little bit.
So Randy LaJoie in the picture as well, the Busch Series point leader and defending champion, as we watch that lead battle, and Martin right up on the back deck lid of Craven. Martin takes a look low. Craven can't seem to hold his car down.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Mark Martin says, let me just see if I can do this with these. Yes, I can. Going into turn 1. Craven drives right back down in the corner very hard. He'll do that about 2 or 3 times, and Mark will take it.
There we have it.
Craven holds on to the point as they make the backstretch again.
What this has done, though, is brought everybody back up on the back bumper of Mark Martin. They're running much slower right now because Mark is toying with him, just trying different grooves in there, seeing what he has. You can see right there. Now, when they go in the corner, watch Craven go in much harder, but he's using a lot of tire to do that.
Watching how Craven was attacking turn 3 and 4 the last time, Chad, I was going to ask you, it looked as though he just couldn't hold the car down where he wanted to.
I think his car is either a little looser, or else he just found a groove that's comfortable for him up higher like that, entering the corner, and he's able to keep his RPMs up higher down the straightaway. That makes it look like he does accelerate past Mark, but like Buddy said, he'll eat up your tires a lot running in that hard.
Now you watch this. That's Jeff Burton on the outside, passing teammate Mark Martin. Mark's just very, very content. He knows he has a lot of race cars. He'll probably let Burton go by. You see him back out, let him go. He said, let him go race. Dick Trickle now, but that's another story. Those two guys know how to race against each other. Wouldn't surprise me for both of them to go by the front two and go on later on.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, if this track goes green, though, for a long time, I believe that the groove that Ricky Craven's figured out will be the hot ticket around here, because all these guys' tires are giving up grip right now, and running up high like that, you keep your car less bound up.
There's your first four. Craven is your leader. Look at Martin to the inside again.
Yeah, he's sizing everybody up right now. He's got a lot of race cars. What's really impressive, just behind them there, Kevin LePage in the 4 car has moved right into the fight here.
Dick Trickle also right in the mix, so you've got 5 top cars close together there, and Martin with that move to the outside to jump back into second spot. Takes a look down low as they come to turn 3. Matt Yoakum on pit road. We're not quite to halfway yet. What about Ricky Craven's crew? Are they pleased?
Well, Rick, I talked to Kevin Caldwell. He told me, look, Ricky, watch your pace. Remember, we've got to keep those tires on the car. If you can stay out in front of Martin and the 9 car, Jeff Burton, then do so. But if you think you're going to punish the tires too much, then drop back and let's save those tires. He told me Ricky is not saying anything about the car's handling, and that always means the car is running stellar. Rick?
Martin back to the inside, though, up onto the main straightaway. He and Craven have been duking it out here the last 8 or 10 laps. Craven continues to use the outside group to hold on to the point.
The one thing that Mark Martin does not need to do is get very complacent with running the bottom part of the racetrack. I noticed just a second ago the car did jump a little sideways coming out of turn 2, and he is running a little bit low right now and putting a lot of pressure on the right side tires by holding it tight in the corner.
Great battle for the top spot. Craven in the blue car is your leader. Right behind him now, Jeff Burton back to second. Now Trickle to the outside. Dick Trickle challenging for third on Martin.
I can't believe how hard these guys are racing for not even halfway through the race right now. And I commented earlier about how the leaders are always the ones who take their time and let each other go by. And here they are running side by side, lap after lap.
106 trips to go here at the Rock this afternoon. You're on board with Dick Trickle riding in third spot. Battled directly in front, the 2x2 down into 1. Craven on the high side, Burton on the low side.
This is the one part of Grand National racing that I dearly love. They race the whole day long, side by side. You can see Mark Martin looking on the inside. Trickle up here, watch his hands in the corner. A lot of back and forth motion, trying to keep that momentum up and not let the car get sideways on him. He's having to fight it a little bit, running very well though. The front 2 go at it, going down into turn 1.
Craven now to the outside, gains a car length or so on Burton. Here's Trickle to the outside. He wants second. He's got Martin right there, though.
And it's going to be a 5-car race before very long. Here comes Kevin LePage in the 4 car, really catching him here.
Martin down low. He and Trickle have been door-to-door for many laps. LePage just kind of watching things. He may be in the best shape of anybody. He's hooked up to that lead group of cars, hasn't had to come up there and battle with anybody yet. Craven continues as your leader. Martin and Trickle door-to-door for third spot. And there's the 4. Kevin LePage taking that seat when they went to California last week. He's got the car in fifth spot. Craven with a strong run here today. Started 7th, 1 car on the wall. Stevie Reeves out of turn 2 in trouble. Big lick into the wall.
Yeah, you can see he's had a lot of contact on the left-hand side there. That's tire marks down the door there. Looks like he got hit from behind also.
Stevie with one career 6th place finish at Richmond a couple of years ago. We'll bring the 96 car around. We are under caution once again. Clouds starting to gather. One more time, the weather has been a question mark for much of the weekend here at Rockingham. It's been alternately sunny and cloudy the last couple of days. No rain yet that's affected anything on track, but there is concern. If you recall when we came onto the air today, we were in a little bit of a rush. So Ricky Craven under caution will lead them down onto pit road now. 95 laps complete, not quite to halfway. Burton and Dick Trickle right behind. Matt Yoakum, they bring the 2 car to a stop.
This is going to be a 4-tire pit stop for Ricky Craven. His car, they're going to make a slight track bar adjustment, go up one turn, while Mark Martin, no adjustments on the Winn-Dixie Ford. He too will get 4 tires. Steve Meal calling the shots, telling him what Ricky Craven is doing. Now let's go up pit road to Glenn Jarrett.
And Jeff Burton is in there also putting 4 tires on. No chassis adjustments here as well. For some reason, they left him up on the jack. He's down and away. Same thing for Dick Trickle. I did not see a chassis adjustment on either car. About to get run over now. Here's Tony Stewart leaving another little bit of a slow pit stop on the 44 car of Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart was back in 10th. Randy LaJoie up onto the speedway. The series point leader had climbed up to 19th spot before that caution. Gets his service work done. Back underway. We're under caution. We'll be back with more at the Rock in a moment. Back live at Rockingham. Green is out. We're back underway. Elliott Sadler in the 29 car takes advantage of pit strategy and pit work to jump to the top of the chart. And Blaze Alexander right with him. Now it looked like it was Alexander who was involved in that skirmish with Stevie Reeves a few moments ago. We'll move Craig Sachs in there and Mark Martin as well. Look at this, 3 wide onto the main straightaway. On board with Trickle. He is in the mix too. He and Craven are back there.
You see Kevin LePage there just behind him in the Phoenix car, the number 4 there, taking a lower line up off the corner. Great action here back in the pack.
Sachs a lap car we're seeing now. McLaughlin, Trickle with Craven. The 4 with LePage. Trickle back in 5th. McLaughlin shown 4th. Craven back in 6th. Remember, he was leading. Now here's Mark Martin to the outside of Sadler, challenging for the point and give Martin the top spot. Jeff Burton right with him too. So Sadler converts a great pit stop to get up toward the front, but can't hang on.
Yeah, we had a report just as Mark Martin made his pit stop. No changes on the chassis. That tells you he's real happy with the car. You can see Jeff Burton there, his teammate. They kind of broke away now and have a pretty good lead.
Good battle for 4th spot. Craven joining that fray. He's back in 6th. Trickle in the 64. We're on board his machine. With him there too, Mike McLaughlin in the 34. And there's the 4. Kevin LePage back in 7th. Our Stanley Mid-Race Report brought to you by Stanley Tools since 1843. Stanley has been helping people do things right. 4 leaders so far. And 10 lead changes. 5 cautions on the board for 32 laps. Only 5 of our 42 starters not still around. We are just past halfway here this afternoon. 103 laps complete. As we're looking back at Ricky Craven, who's back in 4th now. The leaders down into 3. This is what happened with Stevie Reeves. We're in real time in car down low in turn 2.
Okay, you can see him right there. Right there, the back end gets loose. Whether he had any help or not, we can't tell. There's the tire marks that I was talking, going by there. That was Blaze Alexander.
There's a tire loose, and apparently that was from Randy LaJoie's team. This is the pit stop a moment ago during caution. LaJoie coming in, he hit the tire that got loose from one of the other cars. It was not his team, evidently, but a tire loose, and that certainly causes problems. Glenn Jarrett, what happened down there?
Well, I was not in the pit and couldn't see it right then, but they thought that they had a right front rubbing before that, Rick, and so they jacked 4 rounds of wedge in the car on the left rear. Remember, Steve Bird said they would make a major adjustment, and they did that. Also, I want to correct something I said on Jeff Burton, or not correct it, but at least explain it. I said they left his car jacked up for a long time after they had changed the tires. What they were doing was just trying to get it completely full of fuel. If I'd used my head for something besides to hang my headset on, I would have said that. Here's Matt.
Over the course of the last run, Todd Bodine, who now currently sits in the 11th position, was complaining his car was too loose. He couldn't get any bite off the corner. So they made some adjustments on the last pit stop, an air pressure adjustment, put a rubber in the left rear. He said, I can't get any forward bite off the corner. Also, Ricky Craven, why they came out so far back when they went in as a leader, because a lug hung on the right rear, causing him a lot of time on pit road. So he's on his way back to the front now. Currently,
Craven sitting in 4th spot right now. We're on board with Todd Bodine, 2nd in Busch Series points. Last week's winner at California. He is 11th. And remember, Todd started up in 4th spot today and ran there briefly, but has pretty much fallen back from the drop of the green. And as we heard a moment ago, they haven't been able to get the car adjusted to where Todd likes to drive it directly in front of him. Tony Stewart of the 44, who started on the outside of the front row. He's backpedaled a little too, but has settled down into 10th. This the battle between Mike McLaughlin and Hermie Sadler for 7th and 8th.
Well, you see two different styles right there. Hermie Sadler in the one taking the very low line around, and Mike McLaughlin trying the high side right now. It looks to me like we're right on the very base of the racetrack. Is a little quicker now. That outside line has changed. It's probably got a little bit slicker because there's so many cars trying that wide line through the corner.
Sadler's been strong today. He's up to 7th, just getting by McLaughlin there a moment ago. We were with you last at Dover back in September. He had a horrible end to his afternoon. Pounded the inside main straightaway wall a ton. Very short stop. We're seeing Hermie is okay and very, very strong, as a matter of fact, here this afternoon. McLaughlin and Robert Presley, who's turned in a good run today. He's 9th. And Stewart in the 44 back in 10th. Further back, Steve Park in the AC-Delco Chevrolet, the 3 car. He's up to 14th. They started way back in the pack today.
Earnhardt Jr. doing a very good job today. He's in 16th, so he's in there pounding away and still in the lead lap, so he's learning a lot and also running very well.
Talked to Steve for a moment at the drivers meeting earlier today, and they did make the show tomorrow. Our coverage of the AC-Delco 400, 12:30 Eastern time on TNN Motorsports tomorrow. The Burger King Chevrolet from the Dale Earnhardt shops will be in the show, made it the 31st starting spot. Phil Parsons and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Phil Parsons in the show in 15th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 16th in those Wrangler colors here today. Matt Yoakum, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is looking very strong out there.
Well, Rick, I talked to Dale Jr. before the race. He tested both Steve Park's Chevrolet and his own last week here at Rockingham. He said, today, our game plan's simple. I'm to log as many laps as possible. We are using today as a test session. For next year, we're going to take this car, if it comes out of here in one piece, to Homestead to test down there and Atlanta. And we're now back up front with the leaders.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. anticipating a full-time Busch Grand National campaign in 1998 out of his dad's shops. There's a battle for the lead. The 9 of Jeff Burton right behind the 60 of Mark Martin. Martin in command, looking to set a terrific career record here today, but Burton says, hey, maybe not.
He goes to the bottom of Mark Martin. I think Mark's trying all different ways around the racetrack right now. Great car. You see him running very well on the outside. And as you said, Chad, he's not losing any ground whatsoever, using that high line. As a matter of fact, he pulls back in front of Jeff Burton.
You know, if he is just trying different lines, we know that he's got a very, very strong car.
Well, he's back on the bottom there. Just 2 laps ago, he was trying up. Right now, what he's doing is just finding out where he's the best at. I think just behind him, Jeff Burton's driving his heart out. Dick Trickle in 3rd there is doing a great job.
A little further back, Jason Keller in the 57, sitting back in 13th spot. Steve Park is 14th. And Phil Parsons there in 15th as they battle it out, trying to gain ground. Todd Bodine directly in front of that group. Shown in 11th spot on board with Parsons, back in 15th spot on the backstretch. 15 laps on the board, 82 remaining, so we're past halfway. It has gotten very overcast here in the last several moments. We're told that the temperatures have dropped outside a good bit too. When track temperatures change like that in the course of the afternoon, do you just throw your setup plans out the window, buddy?
Not really. They most of the cars have practiced in weather pretty much like it is right now. It may be just a little warmer today because of a front that moved in here, but I think right now that the racetrack itself is changing with every lap you make out there. So it's a guy that really can kind of feel what the racetrack's going to do later on, and a great crew also that can adjust as you go.
Mark Martin is out in front. As we heard, Martin didn't want any adjustments on his car during the last round of pit stops. Martin in command by a couple of car lengths over his teammate, Jeff Burton. Back with more at the Rock. 74 miles to go here at the Rock this afternoon. We've had a lead change. Jeff Burton is back out in front, and look at this. Mark Martin with his hands full. Dick Trickle in the Duraloop Chevrolet on the low side down into turn 1. Lap traffic in front. Dennis Setzer. Trickle has to get out of it and move to the high side. You tuck in behind. Martin settle back into 3rd as you're on board with Stevie Reeves, who had trouble a few moments back, but he's gotten the car repaired. Back out on the racetrack now. Dennis Setzer directly in front of the Lance Snacks machine as we take it down into turn 3 and look up in front of the leaders. Burton and Martin, buddy, you were talking about how Burton maybe was the beneficiary of Martin saying, go ahead, you lead for a while, but Jeff seems awful strong here.
I must tell you, you can see right there he backed off and let him go right on by, but there's a reason for that. I've watched Mark's car for the last few laps, and now Dick Trickle's gotten by him. He's not handling the way he was the first little bit of the race. Whether he needs to cool the tires to make another run, I don't know, but he's off just a little bit right now.
Martin settles back into third, and the gap is growing. And you see Burton in the 9 scooting away. He's probably a dozen car lengths or more to the good now over the 64 of Trickle. Dick with his first career NASCAR Touring Series victory, major NASCAR win at Hickory back in the spring. You saw it here on TNN Motorsports. Trying to notch victory number 2, and he's certainly a contender here this afternoon. Martin there in the 60 car, third. You know the story. Tied with the Ironman Jack Ingram for 31 career NASCAR Busch Series victories, the most ever. If he wins today, it's the 6th time he's tried to do it to break the record this year. He would go in front of Ingram. As we check your MCI NASCAR timing and scoring, presented by MCI.
You watch Mark Martin right now. He kind of cooled the tires down, but Ricky Craven is running very, very high just behind him and running very quick around this racetrack.
On board with Martin. Here's a battle a little further back. The 4 of LePage. He had been 5th. He and Steve Park going at it now for 11th. It looks like Park has got the spot. LePage says maybe not as they race through the dog leg and down into one. LePage on the high side, and James Finch's Chevrolet.
Well, Chad, you won this race in '95, and your car was really good on the high side of the racetrack that day also. And what he's doing right now is keeping the RPMs up.
I mean, that's what you have to do when the tires start to give away and you can't get the grip on the bottom, let your car slide up. You don't have the gear in the car that you normally need when you slow down, so you run a little bit higher, and that keeps your RPMs up. But, you know, there's more than one good way around this racetrack, and some guys make the cars work high, some make them work low, and it just seems that here, though, the surface, and we keep going back to it, it's so abrasive, it eats up the tires so quickly that they lose grip, and then they start sliding up high, and that's about all they can do is just hang on until they can get some more rubber on the car.
No change in this battle for 11th and 12th. LePage and Parker side by side. LePage being scored in 11th. He's in the 4 car, the red and white machine. AC-Delco 3 with Steve Park on the low side. And the Dale Earnhardt shops. Jason Keller directly behind him. Slim Jim machine, he's 13th. Park will take a look low one more time here. 7 trips to go today at Rockingham. Elliott Sadler in that group of cars as well. Sadler was up on the lead a few moments ago after a caution, but hasn't been able to stay with the lead group, being shown at 32nd, a lap down. Park now goes by. LePage gets picked off on the Sadler machine there.
Well, what happened there, the lap car of Elliott Sadler moved up, and that just like a pick there. He couldn't make a move there. You can see he moved up on him when he got right beside him there, but right now, Kevin LePage's car is starting to get off just a little bit in the corners also.
LePage and now Phil Parsons as they battle for 13th spot. LePage kind of back it up a little. Looked like there was a little contact there as well. Todd Bodine in that group of cars. They lap by Dennis Setzler on the back straightaway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in there too. He's 16th. Todd Bodine gives us a look ahead at the Parsons machine. So Bodine is backed up. He's being shown in 15th spot, and that is not good for his championship hopes. Randy LaJoie has fallen a couple of spots back in 26th, but that gap from 15th to 26th, that does not play in Todd Bodine's favor. He needs a strong finish here today, and at the moment he is a long way from the front of the pack. The 9 of Jeff Burton is your leader, lapping by Mark Crow. 134 laps are complete at Rockingham. We'll be back. Bodine would have cut 42 points off LaJoie's margin and would have a chance at the championship at Homestead in a couple of weeks in November, second week in November. Todd Bodine taking us for a ride too down into turn 3. He's behind Phil Parsons. Parsons is 13th. Todd is 14th. And here's a look at how these two drivers have fared today. Neither has had a sniff of the lead. Bodine qualified well. Randy LaJoie did not. Started way back in 33rd, but both have been struggling. Randy's gained a few spots. Todd's backed up, but still quite a gap. Bodine would pick up quite a bit of distance in the point race if things were to finish in this fashion today. Meantime, Mark Martin, who led for a lot of laps earlier, he was 3rd in the Winn-Dixie Ford, right behind Trickle in the 64, the Durloop Chevrolet, and then the Shoemaker machine. Trickle pushes high up in 3. Another car that's apparently having trouble, and we've got problems here. Brad
middle of the straightaway. He's in the grass.
Main straightaway. McLaughlin's 45 goes completely around, didn't hit anything, but we will go to caution. Yellow flag coming up.
Boy, that's a caution. A lot of people are fixing to go a lap down. They're really happy to see that. And Brad Loney, you see, is back underway. No harm there. So everybody was really needing a pit stop.
I think he spun on purpose, buddy, because all these guys needed a caution.
Is that what you think?
142 laps around the board. We'll show it to you one more time. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, and there's Loney losing it. Sachets back to the other side, almost got the outside wall.
Well, he hit Dillon just a little bit there. Dillon was very lucky to hang on to the 72 car, but no harm, no foul there. He was just doing the best he could to get out of the way.
And I take that back. He didn't do that on purpose.
You sound like you've had some experience with things like that.
That one wasn't on purpose.
Jeff Burton is your race leader. Brings him down onto pit road. Trickle sits second. Mark Martin is third. Let's go to pit road. Manuel.
The crew already going to work on Mark Martin's Ford. They will make a track jar bus adjustment and go with 4 tires for the Winn-Dixie Ford. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, down at Jeff Burton, same thing here, Matt. They've already changed rights. They're up to the left side now. Also watching Dick Trickle, car number 64. There is a slight adjustment to the left rear. One round of wedge. The left rear Burton is down and away. Great pit stop. He beats Mark Martin out. Trickle is down and away. I believe he'll come out fourth.
Trickle down and away. Leaders are away down on the low side of the racetrack. Trickle up through the gears. Maybe looking at a victory today. About 50 miles to go when we come back to Rockingham. Ready to go green at Rockingham, North Carolina. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Chad Little upstairs today. Matt Newcomb and Glenn Jarrett on pit road for the AC-Delco 200. Lap cars are down low with Randy LaJoie leading that group. Jeff Burton is your restart leader. Mark Martin, Ricky Craven, and Dick Trickle the first 4. It's been a great battle all afternoon. We're glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Burton takes him into 1. He jumps out to about a 6-car length lead, buddy.
Well, right now I'm looking at 74, Randy LaJoie. Of course, he'd like to get back in the lead lap, but he cannot do anything stupid right now. He has the points lead by 200 points, and right now he's driving like a man that wants the championship, not doing something silly and getting in there, maybe getting in the Burton and creating a wreck.
He was obviously slow much of the afternoon. Seems to have gained a little speed here, at least right off the drop of the green. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, he will for a little while, Rick, but as soon as the tires wear down a little bit, it'll get real loose again. To put it in Randy's own words, well, I'm going to paraphrase for him because I can't say what Randy said, but he said basically that the car was loose all the way around the racetrack. So they're not at all happy. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at it again this last time, trying to find something to make the car work a little better. And you're right now it looks better. Here's Matt.
Ricky Craven's crew gave him a great pit stop. He came in, took on 4 tires, no adjustments. He was very happy with how his car was handling. Also, Todd Bodine is currently soldiering on in 15th position. He's been struggling with this car all day long. And Mark Martin just told his crew, running hard the last run did not work, so I will let the leaders go and try to save my tires for later in this run.
50 laps to go. Martin settles down into 3rd. Craven is in front of him in 2nd. There's your leader, the yellow machine, the 9 of Jeff Burton, Randy LaJoie, the series point leader with a chance at clinching his 2nd straight title here today. Going to struggle all day, but he may be able to get back on the lead lap here. He's closing right in now on the 9, a little further back. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Phil Parsons battle for position. Kevin LePage in the 4 back there as well. This is for 12th and 13th.
Wow, what a move there. Earnhardt Jr., you can see, was really getting into that corner great. You talk about close up, look at this. Inches apart coming off the corner there. Kevin LePage in the 4. That's Phil Parsons that you're riding with.
Up front, meantime, Randy LaJoie has gained ground. He's, in fact, powered by Burton. So LaJoie back on the lead lap now as they race into turn 1. Good move for Randy LaJoie. Whatever those adjustments were on the last stop with a fresh set of tires may have turned the trick for him.
Let me just speculate. I believe what Glenn said. I think after he uses the tires up a little bit, I think Burton and the other guys will go back by him. I don't think there's a miracle cure when you're that far off. Randy LaJoie has really struggled all day long.
Not a lot of laps left, though. 47 to go, so we've got about 50 miles remaining here this afternoon. And there's Craven now coming up to challenge Burton for the lead.
The one thing you have to look at, though, if the caution come out right now, LaJoie would be back in the lead lap and back in the contention. So that was a great move on his part. He didn't seem to have to do anything real crazy to get up there.
Didn't have to push it overly hard, and he's got clear racetrack in front of him, so he's not likely to run into one of those groups of cars we've seen it cause a problem a couple of times here this afternoon. LaJoie, we take a look out the back end of the Fina Chevrolet, back at the race leader, Burton in the yellow number 9. Craven just 2/10 behind him in the Ray Besta Chevrolet. And It's a little further back to Mark Martin, about 4/10 back. Dale Earnhardt Jr. apparently showing as though he might have slipped off the pace just a tad. And Phil Parsons still door to door down there. This is for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Kevin LePage and Robert Presley in that mix of cars. And there's Todd Bodine back there in 14th spot. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. seems to be back on the gas at the moment, so everything hopefully is okay with the Wrangler Chevrolet.
Yeah, he gets right back by Phil Parsons. I tell you what, he's getting things right now you can't buy. Experience, and there's no better way than just what he's doing right now, soldiering along, and everything he's learning today can apply to his lifelong career.
You almost said that like our colleague Darrell Waltrip. Experience. And DW would have been here with us today, but you may have seen or heard yesterday during qualifying, he's got a bad cold, having trouble speaking, which is, I'm sure, very difficult for Darrell. And we wish him well. Hope that he has a good day tomorrow in the AC-Delco 400. And we look forward to having DW back here in the booth with us in the weeks and months to come. Leader back in turn 1. There's Craven. Second spot behind Burton. Now Martin challenging for second. Randy LaJoie, meantime, trying to stay in front of Burton up ahead. Down into 3. Martin takes a look. Can't get by. LaJoie in danger of going a lap down again.
Well, it's just about the 10 lap. You can see Burton looking on the inside. Big wreck.
Todd Bodine is in trouble. The driver challenging.
Cars
second
everywhere.
and
Cars everywhere.
Stevie Reeves get together. Kevin LePage is involved. This is turn 3 at Rockingham. Mark Crow is in it as well.
And Randy LaJoie did not go a lap down.
And this may give LaJoie an opportunity to come back around. Todd Bodine is done for the day. That car is crunched severely, as is LePage's Phoenix Chevrolet.
Yeah, Todd Bodine's car was on fire under the hood there. You could see it.
I think we can also say, unless something happens before the end of the race with LaJoie, we could announce a champion at the end of this race.
Certainly could be that way. Only 5 cars were out. This will take out several more. 7th caution of the afternoon, and a tough break for Todd Bodine, who gave it everything he had here this weekend. Qualified 4th, ran in the top group of cars for much of the first half of the race, got caught up in a jam going into turn 3, and he has bent the Stanley Pontiac up severely going into the wall. Look at that. He's moved the right front wheel in several inches there. Let's take a look. There's LePage in the 4, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 31. Here's Bodine to the inside down the backstretch. What do you see, guys?
Well, I see contact right there. You can see LePage sideways. Earnhardt Jr. on the inside trying to get by. There was contact on Bodine as he tried to go by, and really started this chain reaction. Earnhardt very lucky to get through this. There goes Stevie Reeves into the wall backwards. You can see the fire coming out of the 36 there of Bodine.
I think the wreck actually happened with contact between the 4 car and Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, I did.
And it triggered from there.
So the safety crew and the fire crew here at Rockingham on the scene up in turn 3. The ambulance is over there just to take a look. We saw Todd Bodine jumping out of the car, so we're sure that he will be just fine. There's the Phoenix Chevrolet on pit road. Tough break indeed for championship contender Todd Bodine. We'll be right back. Interesting turn of events here at Rockingham, North Carolina Motor Speedway. The AC-Delco 200 in its final 37 laps. And Todd Bodine, who was second in the Busch Series points, coming in off a win last week, 200 behind, with a championship chance. It has just come to an end, and we'll show it to you a couple of times.
Okay, this is coming out of turn 2. They make a little contact there. You can see the 4 car come over. Earnhardt makes contact right on the rear of Kevin LePage. He comes down, makes contact on Bodine. He goes up the racetrack, hits very hard. There goes Stevie Reeves in the 96 backwards into the wall.
Now we're going to take you inside Todd Bodine's car and give you his view as they come off of turn 2. Just listen and watch.
Ouch.
The sound of a championship going away, most likely for Todd Bodine. We'll show you how it looked from Stevie Reeves' vantage point. LePage drilled the 96 there and sent him around.
I think I'll sing my song, I Love My Job. Yeah,
wow.
Man.
As they load the 36 up on the rollback, let's head down to pit road. Glenn Jeremy.
And Steve Byrd just getting congratulations from Kenny Wallace. For all intents and purposes, your 3rd consecutive championship, Steve. But I saw you heave a huge sigh of relief when that caution came out.
I tell you what, I just can't thank this Pace Motorsports teaming up. Kind of emotional now. 3 in a row is kind of hard to do here. And in any sport, I guess, wins the Cup of Busch. I'm just so proud of the guys. They worked hard all year. 3 years in a row. What can I say? Bill Bumgarner, the greatest car owner I ever had. All my friends have been Henry J's. I know you're going to have a B-52 for me now. We'll see you later.
Okay. Congratulations to all these guys. You can hear the emotion in Steve's voice, and he is exactly right. 3 in a row in NASCAR. Man, that is awesome. And that's what this team has been for the last 3 years.
Randy LaJoie behind the visor there. His crew chief, team manager, longtime friend Steve Bird looking on here at North Carolina Motor Speedway. 2 titles in a row, all but assured for Randy LaJoie. Back with more at Rockingham in a moment. A couple of other things we want to point out to you coming up. The annual NASCAR Family Cruise, December 8th through the 12th. It's the 3rd annual aboard the Norwegian Cruise Line's Leeward ship. Visit Cozumel, Mexico, Key West, Florida, among other destinations. Make your reservations now at 1-888-491-4950. Join the NASCAR Family Cruise as we jump on board. Unbelievable. The 96 is still on the racetrack. Critics are saying plenty about TNN Motorsports video game Hardcore 4x4 for Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn. If you're a racer and like games, check it out now. You'll see fenders crunching, wheels busting, and more. And more information about TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4 is yours at our website, www.country.com. 31 laps to go at Rockingham. Jeff Burton takes him down into 1. He is your race leader. Buddy Baker, he's got Ricky Craven, Mark Martin, and Dick Trickle very much in the hunt here as this thing gets close to the checkered flag.
Yeah, strategy is out the window now. It's the guys that want to win the most, and we have 3 cars right there. You can see Burton going up the racetrack. But look back here. Everybody's really letting it go right now. Craven and Burton are fighting it out for the lead as they head into turn 1.
Craven down low. He's got a nice tire mark on the inside of that machine, so you know that he has been in the cut and thrust of this thing all afternoon. And Ricky Craven grabs the point. Craven takes over up onto the back straightaway now. Burton now 2nd. Martin is 3rd. Trickle and Sadler are 4th and 5th, and that's Hermie Sadler as we watch from Mark Martin's vantage point.
Here comes Mark Martin down on the bottom side, making it 3 wide down the front straightaway just for a second there. Mark's taking a look. He's being very careful right now. Jeff Burton, his teammate on the outside there. You see Martin's car very, very good, but not very strong off the corner with that low line.
These 3 Winston Cup veterans not in the point chase, running a series of selected races, just trying to win today. Mark Martin would set an all-time NASCAR Busch Series record. This would be his 32nd victory. But right now he's 3rd. Burton on the inside grabs the point away from Ricky Craven. Team owner Jack Roush taking a look from on high.
Meanwhile, while these 3 go at it, Dick Trickle's moved in just a couple of car lengths back now to make it 4 people that'll be trying to win here.
Burton and Craven are side by side down into 2. And there's Martin. Took a look for a moment there like he might try to split the difference. Look at them rub on each other.
They're rubbing back and forth. Martin's going on the outside with Craven right now because he looked in the mirror and Dick Trickle has reeled him in from 15 car lengths back and looked very strong.
Also to Jeff Burton down low. He's led a bunch of laps here today, trying to hang on, score another Busch Series victory. 4 different drivers have paced the show here today. We've had 16 teammates get together.
That's all Dick Trickle needed. Now he moves on the outside of Burton. You're riding along with Dick Trickle down the straightaway. You can see just in front of him Mark Martin in the Win Dixie car.
Trickle now in 3rd spot. That has to please him as he sees an opportunity.
Well, he's a man of opportunity. We watched him in Hickory earlier in the year get his first Grand National race, and Trickle would not really love to win here. But I tell you, he has to get after it right now because Craven's building up a pretty good lead.
Less than 30 laps to go.
And that's a long ways here at Rockingham, especially the way these tires fall off so soon. I wouldn't be surprised in another 10 laps it's completely shuffled around from there.
Trickle now 3rd. Burton, the pole sitter, back to 4th. Martin is up in 2nd. You know Jack Roush, Chad Little, you'll be driving for him soon. You are in many ways now. What would he be saying on the radio to his 2 drivers after that little skirmish?
I don't think he's coming over the radio and saying anything, but I'm sure that they'll talk about it and get a joke about it after the race is over, providing they finish as good as they are in right now.
You can see, yeah, you can see the mark on Burton's car there where they made contact, but you see right now the Trickle made a run, but the man on the move right now is Mark Martin. He has reeled in Ricky Craven, and he's pulled right behind him there. You see Craven using a very, very high line. Mark Martin is reeling him in as we speak.
Craven is still out in front. 26 laps to go at the Rock. Martin has won 3 straight NASCAR Busch Series events here. Swept both last year. One back here in the early part of the season. Make it 3 in a row. Burton takes a look inside. Trickle now as they come to turn 3. Craven goes up high. That high line that he has used so much here this afternoon out of turns 3 and 4.
Burton's got the preferred line going into turn 1. Let's see if he can hold that position.
See Trickle there on the outside. Watch him get this great run off the corner. He'll pull back out just a little bit on Burton as they head down into turn 3 though. Burton drives way down in the corner. But look at this for the lead.
Battle for the point. Martin on the low side. Craven up high. These two have been going at it much of the afternoon. Craven holds on. 2x2 back for third spot as well. We'll give you a look at Burton's machine from Dick Trickle's automobile.
This looks like about the second lap of a race instead of right near the end here. They're going at it 2x2 here. You can see Mark Martin using that lower line. Comes out, gives him a mirror full. He says, okay, you're not going to be able to tell what I'm going to do. If you go low, I'm going to go high. So he's really leaving himself open there by dropping back just a little bit down the front straightaway.
Battle for third spot is door to door. Trickle in the 64 has the position now over Burton. Back in the fourth spot. Burton all of a sudden seemed to be quite as strong as he was earlier on. Meantime, the lead battle. Craven way high once again. Martin takes a look low.
You've got to be very strong to pass somebody on the inside exiting a turn right here because of the momentum that the guy on the high side can keep going.
And here's Martin.
Keeping his motor, the RPMs in his motor revved up. See how it looks like he accelerates by him there? It's not that he has more horsepower, it's that his motor runs freer as he exits the corner.
Craven using the high side masterfully here at Rockingham, maintaining the lead. 20 to go.
Oh,
and Matt Kenseth with problems. He's got a
3 and 4. Car up against the wall.
On the right side of the machine. Robbie Reiser automobile.
Now this changes everything.
Sure does. Kenseth was so stout at Dover back in September. Had a great third there. One of 2 each had this season. Kenseth brings the car down below the white line. He'll come to pit road, but we are under caution. This will reshuffle everything. Steve Bird with a hat that means a whole lot to him. The 1997 Series Championship Crew Chief. Under caution once again at Rockingham. Your leader is Ricky Craven. Mark Martin is second. We'll give you a look at why the caution has flown one more time. This on the backstretch. Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart.
Well, actually, that started coming off turn 2. They got another victim over there. Matt Kenseth and Stewart come off the corner over there, and from the angle that we had it, you'd be speculating if you said they had contact. I'm sure they'll tell us later, but you see the end results right there.
We've got a new right front tire on that machine. A little flame coming out of it there. We're going to try to get Kenseth back out for the last 18 laps, 17 laps today. Quickly to pit road, and Yoko.
Well, Todd Bodine has just walked out of the infield care center. Good news, Todd. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Shoulder hurts a little bit. It bruised the muscle up here, but gotta be dumb. You gotta be tough, I guess. But heck of a way to lose a championship. You know, we didn't have really a shot to beat Randy, but we wanted to beat him on the track, and I know he did too. But that's the way it goes sometimes, and it's unfortunate for Stanley. We actually, right there, we had gotten the car adjusted where it was a lot better. I mean, we had something to work with, and I think I could have got back up closer to the front. I don't think we could have won, but we could have gotten the top 10, and it's unfortunate. Not sure what happened there. Dale Jr. got a little out of control and hit me. We got by him, but I don't know what happened. So it's just racing. That's the way it is. We're looking forward to next year, but we got one more race. We're going to Homestead and going to try to win down there.
You look at this 1997 season, this team never gave up. You had a roller coaster season right down to the end. You guys never said die.
No, this team's never going to do that. This team 34, they're tough. We never give up, and we didn't today. I mean, we had a bad race car, and we kept working on it. Clyde and John were making changes, and it was getting better, and right there it was the best it'd been, and we're never going to give up. Like I said, we're going to Homestead to win.
Well, the good news is he's okay, although he's lost what he really wanted was the 1997 Busch Series Championship.
They've given it quite a battle all season long, and there is your champion, Randy LaJoie, the third driver to win back-to-back Busch Series crowns. Sam Arr did it first in 1983 and 84, Barry Pearson in 86 and 87, and they've raised the banner on pit road in the base motorsports. The 74, the Phoenix Chevrolet, will win its third consecutive Busch Grand National title. Randy LaJoie gets his second straight. I showed you the points a moment ago. 180 points is the most you can win in one race in this series. So Todd Bodine's chances mathematically have gone by the boards with that crash up in turn 3.
Well, LaJoie's been loose all day. He's fought the race car and done what he had to do. And years back, I'm sure that he's matured as a race car driver. Years back, he may have wrecked the car that was that loose. But today, Randy LaJoie is a complete driver.
Team 34 crew looking at the Pontiac that Todd Bodine took into the wall back a few moments ago. We'll have full post-race coverage of the AC-Delco 200, and we'll preview tomorrow's AC-Delco 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, of course, tomorrow on TNN Race Day. 11 a.m. special time, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be back at our Charlotte studios. And then 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll wrap up the Motorsports Day with a special PM broadcast of Race Day as well. We've got live Winston Cup and NHRA drag racing action for you tomorrow here on TNN Motorsports. Meantime, this one getting down to it. 182 laps complete, 15 to go. Right now, it's Ricky Craven on the restart pole with Mark Martin right behind. Martin hoping to set a record here today with his 4th straight at the Rock, and we're back underway. Craven, though, skates away to a couple of car length advantage. Martin about 4 car lengths back as they come up onto the backstretch.
Well, he has a lap car underneath Martin there. That's Elliott Sadler, and he's fighting very hard to get by. Look at this scramble back in the pack, though.
Deeper in the pack, a lot of shuffling of positions. They race up onto the main straightaway. Good battle a little further back in the pack. Steve Park back there, and Elliott Sadler, Hermie Sadler, going for it in 7th and 8th and 9th spot. Steve Park on the move. He's up to 5th spot right now. Glenn Jarrett, what are they saying down there?
Well, I think the guys in Steve Park's pits are really glad to see this caution, although he got a little behind in that shuffle right there. They're side by side. If you look at Park, he was really coming on strong. The leaders were, as we say, side by side going into one. As they were doing that earlier, Hermie Sadler and Steve Park before the caution were really gaining on him as Martin takes the lead. But they were glad to see this thing. But now, in that traffic on the restart there, they got shuffled back a little bit more. I don't know if they'll have enough time to get back up there to challenge or not. But meanwhile, we've got a heck of a race going on.
Got a great race at the top spot coming out of the main straightaway. Lead change. Mark Martin is back out in front now. With 11 laps to go, Martin has gotten by Craven. Trickle is right there as well, and now it's time to show your colors.
Yeah, well, you got it right. Mark Martin right now in the lead, but Ricky Craven less than a car length back. And as you see here, Hermie Sadler and Buckshot Jones are going at it.
Hermie moving up around Buckshot to take over 6th. Buckshot is 7th. Mike McLaughlin is 8th. The leader, Martin. Craven is 2nd. Trickle 3rd. Burton is 4th.
Boy, it don't get no better than this. Dick Trickle gets loose coming out of turn 2. Boy, I tell you what, he had a handful of steering wheel there. But what a veteran. You can see right there, Jeff Burton moves in on his back bumper now.
Mark Martin with a good working race car. Nice and low on the white line as they come out of turn 4. And he has stretched it out over Craven.
I'd be surprised right now if anyone's going to be able to get up and pass that 60 car.
Anybody recognize that hat there?
Oh, yeah.
That's Mr. Jack Roush, the car owner of the 60 car there. Builds great motors, and Mark Martin considers him just one level under his father as far as respect that he has for that guy.
Battle is for 2nd now. Trickle coming up to challenge Craven. A couple of Chevrolets behind the Ford of Martin. Buddy, you talked about this in the middle portion of the race. Martin taking it easy, letting other drivers lead when necessary. Saved himself a lot of race car here, didn't he?
Well, he saved himself a lot of race car, but right now he got very lucky on that restart. And the battle right now is for 2nd. You can see Dick Trickle making a move there on Ricky Craven. He has pulled up on the quarter panel as they head down the front straightaway.
Looks like Trickle's going to make the pass good as they go down into 1. Dick Trickle with 7 to go takes 2nd away from Craven. See if he can hang on to it. These 4 cars have been in those 4 spots really all afternoon. They've been swapping the top 4 positions. I think Trickle is the only one who hasn't led a lap here today. There's Craven. We look out the back end of the Duralube machine. Burton in the yellow car. He led for a long time earlier. He is 4th. Craven 3rd. Trickle now 2nd. Behind race leader Mark Martin, and the gap is half a second. 6 laps to go, 191 complete. Here's your battle for 2nd place. 20, that's Blaze Alexander. He is not on the lead lap. Park is back there. You can't see him yet, but he's back there. He's come up nicely. Park started way back in the pack, back at 31st spot.
You can see with 6 laps or 5 laps to go now as they head down into turn 1. Mark Martin is pulled out to about a 15-car length advantage over Dick Trickle now.
Martin. Now, there could be 2 big winners here today. Randy LaJoie has taken the Busch Grand National Championship with NASCAR for 1997. Mark Martin could take one of the great records in the sport today. This would be his 32nd career NASCAR Busch Series victory. He would eclipse the record of Jack Ingram. They've been tied for quite a while. Jack with 31 career victories. This would be Mark's 32nd if he can hang on. Less than 5 to go. Here's Burton now trying to get out of 4th. Make a move to the inside.
Boy, this will be fender to fender for a while. You can see Burton taking the low line. Left front just a little bit up over, but as they hit the straightaway, you can see that outside lane really gives you a good drive off the corner.
As high as Craven's been running, that's the only line that Burton's going to be able to take if he wants to get around him.
Coming up onto the back straightaway now. Blaze Alexander able to stay with his group. That's the battle for 3rd. Jeff Burton, the pole sitter, in the 9. Craven in the deuce. There's your leader, Martin, who has just put a hurt on the rest of the field here in the last couple of laps.
Exactly what I was thinking. Boy, when it come time, he just went right on with the purple.
For the back, Steve Park and Hermie Sadler. And Hermie Sadler has gotten by Park now. So Sadler moves to 5th. He's been stout all day. We haven't talked a lot about the 1 car. Hermie Sadler has been up in the lead group all afternoon long, and he has come back around Steve Park. Park, though, has gained 25 spots here this afternoon. He sure did a great drive, coming from 31st in the AC-Delco Chevrolet. There's Craven hanging on the 3rd spot in the 2 car. And the white flag is in the air or the last trip around Rockingham Raceway, the old Rockingham Raceway, now North Carolina Motor Speedway.
Well, here it is, the 3rd spot. You can see him going down in the corner there. He has 1 more shot at him.
Burton into 3. We'll take a look low on Craven. Here's Hermie Sadler. He's going to make it 3 wide. Martin gets the victory. Martin takes the win. Trickle will get 2nd. 3rd spot will go to Craven. Burton and Hermie Sadler in a group. Chad Little, thanks for being with us today. Good luck tomorrow in the AC-Delco 400. Mark Martin sets the record. Wins his 32nd career Busch Grand National event. Breaks the record of Jack Ingram, set many, many years ago. And your 1997 NASCAR Busch Series champion, Randy LaJoie from South Norwalk, Connecticut. Last year it went down to Homestead, the final race of the year. This time they win it before we go to Florida for the season finale.
Well, championship's over, but racing is not. Anybody that loves racing, I tell you, Homestead will be a barn burner.
Mark Martin comes out of turn 4. And he is one of your 2 big winners here today at North Carolina Motor Speedway. Randy LaJoie on the speedway to celebrate his 2nd consecutive championship, 3rd in a row for Base Motorsports in the 74 car.
What's this donut here? This is tradition here.
Randy marks the title by giving it a Tommy Kendall-like spin, and he'll go back the other direction to the Base Motorsports team. Whoa!
Think I'm happy or what, huh?
Randy LaJoie marks his title by putting on quite a show for the fans here at North Carolina Motor Speedway this afternoon, and all of us watching and enjoying on TNN Motorsports. Randy drops the window net, waves to the fans. Our congratulations to a good friend, Randy LaJoie from South Norwalk, Connecticut. 2 consecutive NASCAR Busch Series championships. And that is a tough title to win. We've got a lot of stories to tell and a lot of drivers to talk to. We'll get to that business when we return after this quick timeout. Mark Martin, your winner of the AC-Delco 200. Welcome back to North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. Victory lane, Mark Martin. He breaks Jack Ingram's career win record of the NASCAR Busch Series. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And, of course, he's mighty happy about it for the 32nd time in your Busch career. This was a record breaker, and it didn't come easy.
Oh, boy, it didn't. I tell you, none of these wins have come easy since got so lucky at the beginning of the year. We won 5 of the first 7, and most of them were on luck, and they've made us earn these next ones. I tell you, Michigan, gas mileage, Jimmy Spencer beat us at Charlotte, and I thought for sure we were beat today, but we had the right setup for the last set of tires, the right amount of laps, and we just made it work.
Mark, some great racing out there between you and Craven, and also between you and your teammate, Jeff Burton. In fact, a little bit of contact.
it's inevitable someday he or I are going to take one another out, and I'm sure we're going to feel real bad about it, but it's racing, you know. He was racing, and if that would have happened, that's how I would have looked at it, just the same as anything else, you know. When you're in there that close, you know, teammate or not, sometimes things happen.
And they do, and today things happen just right for Mark Martin to set that record. Now here's Matt Yoakum.
Glenn, jubilation running wild. Randy LaJoie, your second straight Busch Series championship. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm not quite sure what to say. You know, this race team is pretty darn awesome. You know, we did what we had to do early in the year because the last couple of races we haven't done a whole lot. Lost a good friend of mine, Roy Spafford, our family. That's for you, pal. It's too bad. You know, he had cancer, and what a great guy. But, you know, this race team, we just keep digging, and I'm not sure how we got our lap back today, but we got our lap back, and the car was trying to hit the wall all night, all day, all week, and I finally hit the wall late, so I'm doing some donuts.
Well, that was a wild victory lap. Tell us about it.
Oh, well, I just seen some monster trucks in Charlotte doing that, and but they didn't hit nothing. So, you know, this thing needed to be fixed anyways.
This is definitely a championship chase that came right down to the wire, and it was just like last year at Homestead. You really had to dig for it.
Yeah, it looked real good after Charlotte, and then Todd goes and wins last week at California, and we got here, and we just couldn't grip the racetrack, and we struggled all week, and they run pretty good, and we got our lap back, and Todd crashed. He crashed to let us get our lap back. So, I mean, things happen for a reason, and I hate it to happen to him. But, you know, what a great season, not only for FINA, you know, Hardee's, our Kool-Aid, all our associate sponsors, Castle Springs Water, and, you know, the guys that support us, Staff America, all year long, that cuts our paychecks and keeps us happy and smiling.
Well, you can always tell the true test of a champion is how you back it up. Another stellar run for Randy LaJoie, his second Busch Series championship and the third for Base Motorsports.
Great run for Randy LaJoie and his team all season long. They are the champions once again. Mark Martin, meantime, celebrating that career victory record in the NASCAR Busch Series with his family. Victory lane, 32 wins in his Busch Grand National career.